Right in the kisser.
Hey, how the devil are you? Why are you order? Right, so you're on a really tight budget. You want to get an amplifier and some speakers, but your budget is like nothing. You have nothing to spend. You're absolutely broke.
Any spare change, Governor? Any spare change?
Get a job.
Spare change for a cup of tea?
Okay, so what can you do? Is it worth getting these cheap amplifiers off Temu? Well, I've bought the AK 170 for the princely sum of £7.60. Now, you can get, what's the other one they got? They got another one. It's an upgraded version. Oh, there is. And that's the AK 370. Now, the AK 370, get this, right? It's got an added USB input, an SD card input, and a remote control for the princely sum of £13.13 with free postage. So, what? What? Right? But I'm not paying that much. No way! So I went for the one that's £7.60. And what this has got on the front, it's got on-off button. And it's got a bass, which is, I am assuming, minus 10 and plus 10 dB. Volume control, which lights up on the front. And a treble control. So you got bass, got tone controls. £7.60. On the back, what we've got is the power in. We've got the speaker binding posts, which are the springy clip ones. And just one input there for RCA. Okay. It doesn't come with a power supply. With the AK 370, you can get it for £13.13 with the power supply. Maybe I should have gone for that. Idiot. Anyway, right. But I did have a power supply hanging about. It's 12 volt, 5 amp, 3 to 5 amp. Best going for the 12 volt, 5 amp. It says it's 4 to 16 ohms and it's rated at 20 watts per channel. Now, I don't know if that's into 8 or 4. I don't know. Probably 4. So it's not a powerhouse. But could this be something you could use to get you started in your hi-fi journey? You know, if you're a student, you'd rather spend your money on drink and other stuff. We know the score students. Or and save your money buy something as cheap as this. Is it worth it? Anyway, we're going to have a little look around it, okay? I will be taking it apart later to see what it sounds, see what's in there, and then we will be doing a sound test against my SMSL Raw HA1 amplifier all-in-one to see how it sounds. I'm not holding my hopes up, but we'll see. Anyway. Okay, I've got it connected up. Boink. And I've been listening to music using Amazon Music HD. And what I can say is that music comes out of it. Okay? How well that music comes out is another matter. Now, I've done a sound test. So before I give my opinion, have a listen to the sound test. And once the sound test is finished, I will let you know what I think. Okay, have a listen to this. On the face of it, it doesn't sound too bad. I mean, over YouTube, you're not going to be able to tell how good or bad it is against the SMSL. But what I will say is this, it's a little bit thin on the bottom end. Even if you use the bass controls, it's a little bit thin. And the mid-range is a bit harsh. And it reminds me somewhat of the old Class D amplifiers we used to get 10 years ago. Used to have that on the top end. And also, I was running it through the SMSL Raw DAC 1. I used that as a preamp for it. And when you got to the 20 past the hour sort of setting on the volume, just cut out. Because I wanted to test it at higher volume so I could really hear, because normally cheap amps get distorted around there, but it wouldn't go past the 20 pass, and it just cut out. Floop, turned it back down, popped back on again. Went in completely into protection mode. So, but what I will say, like I said, you might not be able to tell much from that sound test, but what I can say when I've been listening to, I got my playlist on Amazon Music here, and what I can say is that it is quite harsh, and if you were to listen to it over time, it might get a bit fatiguing. So something to be aware of. Anyway, let's get inside it and see what we can find, and see what amplifier chips and op amps it's using. Let's have a look. Bit hard to see, but I'll take some pictures of these so you can see, and I'll put them on here. So that's the op amp there. That's an F4558 op amp. I'm not familiar with that op amp. I don't know what it is. It's not much about it online. Doesn't give much information away. If anyone knows anything about it, let me know. I guarantee it's not a decent one, probably. Now there's the amplifier chip here, and it had this weird plate on it, and it goes over like that and stuck through the board there. I don't know whether it's like a heat sink or something like that, maybe, because normally the amplifier chips are behind a heat sink. Not a great heat sink, is it? If it is, I don't know what it's doing, but that was there like that. I'll put that back in later. Now, I did find the specs of that online, and they're not great. Okay, so it is 8 watts in times 2 into 8 ohms by the look of it, what I can see. So it's only 20 watts into 4 ohms. And the total harmonic distortion, if this is right, 10%. I can't believe. So a THD of 1% would be considered bad, okay? Like pretty bad. It's audible. A total harmonic distortion of 10% is an insult. It's just horrendous. No, what? So really, really bad total harmonic distortion. That'll be audible noise, and that's probably why I found it fatiguing after listening to it for a few songs. And that's got to be the reason. So what's my conclusion? Is it worth spending £7 on a cheap amp? I'd say no. I'd say save up. I guess something like a Fozzy Audio TB10. I think they're about 80 or 90 quid on Amazon, but I have seen them as low as like £50 on eBay. So go and have a look. If you want a cheap amp, save up your money, save up for a few months and get a better one. This will probably end up damaging your speakers. It's not very good at all. So no, unfortunately, you can't buy a £7 amp. It looks all right, and on the face of it, the first impression is, oh, it's not terrible, it's not too bad. After a while of listening to it, no. Anyway, there you go. That's come to the end of the video. Don't buy one of these. I'll catch you in the next one.